People don't realize how hard comedy is. You have this routine, you have these punchlines, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And I can't imagine in the middle of the set, you go, okay, is the stuttering going to get worse right now? Is this a good day or is this a bad day? I mean, do you wake up that morning going, okay, I got my crap together?
Yeah, it does kind of feel like you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, especially when you've had it plague you. And not, I don't like the word plague, that sounds dramatic, but you've had it kind of, it's almost always on its terms, not always on yours, you know. Sometimes I'll wake up and it's just, I might immediately, like my wife will know. She'll be like, it's just not a good day, you know. And I'll be I'll be typing to her, like I'll pull up a Word document and I'll be typing, you know what I mean. And like we'll be in an argument and I'm like, I have to go type my responses, you know what I mean. I'm like, you know, and I'm like, and I'll show her the laptop and I'm like, that's how I feel, that's how I feel. So it's like, you know, these things that it's a great lesson in relinquishing control, especially because the less I've cared about it, the better it's gotten. So it's just a little bit, you know, finger trap, kind of like, oh man, the more I try to control this thing, the tighter and more rigid and more difficult it can be.
I think about that, and I've read some of your interviews, and well, you're saying, you call it my stuttering's acting like an a-hole today. And, I understand what that's like to suddenly feel, wait a second, can I do my craft anymore? You're 20 years old, your acting career is just taking off. You get hit with a weird softball accident, which sounds like a bad joke when you write it. You're like, well,
Yeah,
yeah, a softball almost ended my career.
yeah.
And what do you do at that time? You go, I got to rise. I got a life to live here.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before, but I kind of liked that it was so definitive. Like it was just so, this is not happening. Like when that happened to me, I got dropped by my agent, my manager, who were representing me for acting projects, and I had a lot of appointments that week, projects that I was on hold for, scheduled to go shoot for, that I couldn't do because of this injury. So when this happened, it it really became so clear that option was no longer an option. So I had a lot of, you know, comic friends who I had a lot of friends who, you know, like they were comics, and comics get like very, they gravitate towards little subjects of like pain or like adversity or complaint or frustration or you know, trauma or whatever. Like these are all ripe with opportunity for being able to talk about it. So I got encouraged by a lot of comics who were like, you have to go on stage and talk about this thing, talk about this injury, talk about what it's like. And the first time that I went on stage, it wasn't good, but I felt like compassion again from other people. I felt understood, and in that way it was very rewarding. So I wanted to just pursue, you know, change my life after that.
Now, I didn't know how to bring this up because when I saw that your agent and your management team had dropped you, I'm sitting here going, when they say success is the best, form of revenge, I mean, your career suddenly takes off again. Do these people come back to you and say, hey, man, we're really interested? Or you already go, you're out of your mind?
You know, I hadn't heard from them. Like so you know, maybe it's just like they're like maybe they're like, we made the right call. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I still hadn't heard. I hadn't, like, it's so funny because I when you can't say what you want to say all the time, you start to just build a lot of the narrative in your head. And there's a place where you create a list, you have resentment, you have all this stuff that just happens because you're not be able to communicate it. You know, you're not able to say what it is you want to say. So I have to really keep myself accountable in making sure that I'm not as angry as I once was, because I felt hurt by what it was that happened. I felt, you feel alone. You feel like no one has your back and no one believes in you. And I know that there's a lot of people who feel that way regardless of an injury changing their life, right? So I'm it it's all a blessing, and I don't have any ill will towards anybody, but there was definitely a time where I was just so angry, and it was just a huge motivator to be like, I'm going to show them, I'm going to show this person, I'm going to show this person. um and not healthy, but it yields results.
Believe it or not, from what I hear, even from the best athletes in the world, like Michael Jordan had to hate the player he was going up against to be great. And I mean, these bad moments happen to you, but I mean, imagine, let's take this out of it. Take the whole softball out of take it. Let's say nothing happened. I mean, could you imagine a career that might have been different where you're going, wait a minute, it didn't work out. And because I had to go through this adversity, I pushed harder, I did all these things. I mean, you take that one thing out and imagine what life would have been.
I know, and I do consider myself to be exactly like Michael Jordan. We're almost identical, pound for pound. um and people say that too, literally, like when they review my show, people are like, he's the Michael Jordan of comedy. um and so I like, yeah, it is wild. I mean, it's wild how, I mean, I had always been like a driven person. I had always been somebody who was very self-motivated, but when this thing happened, it just became clear. Like, I love when like when things don't work out. I know that that sounds weird, but it's like you almost get addicted to like rejection, or you just get addicted to something like going against you, because it just creates this whole other gear that you have, that you're not aware that you have. That's what's crazy. It's like you're not even human. You're like, all right, I'll just be up for a full day, and I'll just write. I'll lock myself in a room, and I'll just write, or I'll go and I'll perform uh wherever. I'll put some chairs outside and see who walks by. I'll have them sit down, and I'll perform in front of them. I'll do it in a park. I'll do it at a Korean barbecue. I'll do it at I'll do it at a laundromat. I'll do it in a living room. I'll do it like a nursing home. I've done all these shows, and it's because they're the point of you're at a place of point of no return, so you can't go back to where you were, and you just use it. So very, very unhealthy stuff, like I said, very unhealthy, but it just creates this whole other thing of what you didn't know was possible.
Well, stand up is an unhealthy thing to begin with. I mean, I can't tell you how many you talk to another stand up when you're in the back of the room watching somebody else bomb, and you can't wait till afterwards to light them up because we're just a different breed. We like screwing with each other.
I
And
know. I don't have it. I don't have that. If a comic, but if a friend of mine bombs, I can't. I almost like I send them flowers the next day. I'm like, I can't be that guy. Some comics are that way. Most of us are that way. Where it's like, if I bomb, like someone will come up and be
yeah.
like, oh, or whatever, or like that's that thing where it's just like you get to commiserate a little bit together, and in that way there's community, but it also still has such a bite. Like, it's so much of a bite because you are the thing that sucked. You, like, it's all you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I showed you a thing I made and you're like, oh, that's not very good, and you're like, okay, well, at least I know I'm okay. No, it was you thought some things, and you went and you said them, and people hated it, and so you're like, oh, you hate me. So that is
Yeah.
like, it's just so there's not even a thin layer between you and your worth that you really have to, make sure you have a good handle on when you're doing this.
Now, what's interesting is people don't understand this. Most of the time, we just hang out with each other. Comedians love to hang out with each other. So when you're touring, like you have a big tour coming up, and you want to actually work with people you like, the ones you want to hang out in the green with, one you want to have a drink with later, eat with later. I mean, I'm sure you have favorite comedians you like to travel with.
Yeah, I do. I have lots of friends where, like, I have so many people who like I am fans of, and they're my friends, and I want to be able to give different opportunities to different people. And my wife was actually somebody who was very like, she was like, I think what you do is really cool in that you give like female comics opportunities, or comics of comics who haven't had many opportunities. I want to be able to you know create some sort of a platform for people I find to be really funny. And if you're there like it, at a gig that doesn't go well, you want to be able to look over to a friend or somebody and
Yeah.
be like, did you see that, or was that crazy, am I crazy? So it's really special for that.
The hard part in comedy, a lot of people don't realize the heckling isn't really part of the show. And I think with the internet and with the certain, when everyone goes, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do there. And as a host, or whether, even if I'm headlining, it's like you got to tell people, hey guys, I got a show to do. If you got something to say, be quick about it. How do you combat that when you're going, okay, this is enough, guys? Let me try to move forward.
It's almost like I would prefer the heckling I used to get before I was known, because when you get heckled or interrupted from a place of malice, or a place of whatever, something that's not positive, you're able to address it in a way that feels fair. So if somebody says something, you can address it, and you can address it in a way that's like, okay, you and I are adversaries at this time. You've made your case for the fact that you and I are not on the same team. So that becomes easier, because if you're a comic, you should or could have any response in a way that would be justified, and you would have the audience's probably support. And you have a motive as well. You have a motive to be able to do it. Now it's hard because people will heckle me because because they're just being supportive. You know what I mean? They'll be like people be interrupting, and they might not even be aware that they're hurting the flow or the rhythm or the experience of other people in the show. So, like if I'm telling a thing or whatever, and they're like, yeah, yeah, and your dog, I love your dog, like you know what I mean? Oh, your wife, she's the best. I met her one time, and they'll go for like a long time. I met her, and she came over. I made her dumplings, and she ate them right there in front of me, and it was amazing. And I remember my niece was there. It was my whole family, and we traveled. And you're like, and I have cats as well. I have cats, and you're like, lady, I love you, but I can't. What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? These are polite heckles, so I can't be like, you shut up, lady, shut up, and you drown your cats. Like, what am I supposed to say? She's just a sweet lady who's just enthusiastic about the fact that she's here to see somebody she likes.
Yeah, it's interesting thing. Now here's a topic I want to talk about. I lost about 40 pounds, and I had a lot of jokes that were based on my weight. I mean, a lot of great jokes that people just, and now they're not funny because they look at me. They're going, well, you're not as big as you used to be. You're a normal sized person. You know, when you're stuttering is more in control. I mean, do you think people are looking for, oh, he's not stuttering as much as usual, or
Yeah.
something like that? Do you feel like it affects your routine at all?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you. I think we should switch. I think you stutter and I just gain a bunch of weight, and let's just try it out. You know what I mean? Test drive each other's thing. Um, yeah, it's tough, but I decided a long time ago that I didn't want this injury, the way I talked, to be the thing that dictated um uh, how people perceived me, or what I don't want it to be a crutch. I don't want it to be a reason that anyone, I don't want it to be disputed that I just have a career because of that. You've seen it. I've seen it. There are comics out there who maybe have the position that they are in, the position they are in, because of a certain thing that they do or have, or whatever. And good on them. But at the same time, I saw that, and I also really I suffered on the personal side of things for a very long time because of the way that I could not speak, and how much it had grated on me and my mental health, and just feeling sometimes lost. So I decided just a long time ago that I didn't want that to be me. I'm a person of I'm a person of like I have depth. I have layers to me. I'm not somebody who well, I don't want to just be um uh dismissed as, oh well, he's just the stuttering guy, or he just does this. And I heard that for so many years. Oh, you're that stuttering you do the stutter. Or and it's like I'm a person. I'm a human person. I'm not like a sideshow. I'm not a thing. I get it. Branding, marketing, all that is fantastic. But if I have to sacrifice that and take the risk of what people put me in a box as at the expense of feeling limited, I'm not gonna do that. So I if it I decided that I was like, I had been working at my speech for years. And I just was like, one day I want people to just know me for me and only care about the human being, not me as just like a product or a toy that just does one thing.
I got to tell you, Drew, that is so important to so many people out there, what you just said. I love everything about it, and I look forward to seeing you on your road someday. Good luck with everything and have a great time on the tour.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it, buddy.